The merge command. This podcast is at the advanced level. It requires a thorough knowledge of Accordance Bible software. In addition, a working knowledge of Greek and Hebrew will be helpful. The merge command is one of the most powerful features of Accordance. This command is complex enough it takes a bit of time to learn, but when it's needed, it is irreplaceable. Stay tuned to learn more. The merge command is a linking command that imports the hit articles and verses and hit words from the original search into a second search. We can then add additional search criteria in the second search if we want. This command was developed specifically for the MT and LXX Parallel tool, where it allows searches for the Hebrew Masoretic text and Greek Septuagint equivalents. It will also search reference tools using a text search as a source. When used with a grammatically tagged original language text, this enables sophisticated searches for lexemes, roots, and grammatical forms. However, such searches are constrained in two ways. First, to the notes of the hit verses of the original search, as well as second, to the actual grammatical forms found in the text. Reference tools. The simplest use of the merge command is to search something like the notes of study Bibles. Let's say we want to do a study on the Sabbath using the St. Andrews University Study Bible. First, we search the ESV for the word holy, and we find 595 verses that contain it. Next, we then search within the study note for those hit verses for any that also include the word Sabbath. We enter the word Sabbath, add the and command, then the merge command, 37 hits. Once this search is set up, we can change the original word search in the ESV to seventh, and the linked merge search updates automatically. The merge command can also be used for sophisticated grammatical searches in commentaries, even though these reference tools are not grammatically tagged. Here's how. A lemma search for apocalypto in the Greek New Testament will find 26 hits and 26 verses, which include 13 different forms. But type the same word in the New International Greek Testament commentary and it comes up empty. Why? Because we can't do lemma searches in tools. They aren't grammatically tagged. Original language searches within tools only look for strings of characters, not specific grammatical forms. However, if we use the merge command and the NA28 as the source pane, Accordance will find every example of all 13 different forms in the Greek New Testament, automatically limiting itself to commentary on the 26 hit verses. How does it do this? It just looks for these 13 different combinations of Greek character strings. Neat, huh? Since an apparatus is also a reference tool, the merge command can be used to search it too. Let's say we want to do a study on the pronoun autos, including all of its variants in the Greek New Testament. We can then simply search for the lemma in the Greek New Testament. It's grammatically tagged. We find it appears 5,597 times, in 3,726 verses, in 28 different forms. Now, rather than type all those forms into the NA28's apparatus, we can just use the merge command to find all 1,381 variants. The merge command also automatically limits those variants to the 3,726 verses already identified in the original search. We can even produce a table of the variants. If we right-click in either of the search tabs, we can also tie them together, enabling us to scroll either while still keeping both of them in sync. The MT and LXX Parallel. Where the merge command really shines is in searching the MT and LXX Parallel. Developed by Emanuel Tove, this searchable tool shows every Hebrew word in the Masoretic text and the matching Greek words in the Septuagint. In that sense, it's reminiscent of the second edition of Hatch and Redpath, the one with a Hebrew index by Takamitsu Muraoka. However, this digital tool is much more powerful. Accordance actually offers two different versions of Emanuel Tove's tool, and it's important we don't get them confused. The database allows us to search the dynamic interlinear to view the Greek Septuagint equivalents for the Masoretic Hebrew Bible, and vice versa. That's all it does. The parallel, which is the full version and carries a higher price tag, displays the equivalents side by side and can be searched in any one of its 8 different data fields. It's this full version that is so valuable when used with the merge command. Notice that one can not only search the Hebrew Masoretic text and the Greek Septuagint, but also Tov's suggested reconstructions and annotations. So how does this command work in real-world exegesis? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's say we're reading Genesis 1 in English. We have the Hebrew Masoretic text and the Septuagint in parallel columns beside the ESV. If we move our cursor over the word earth, we can see that it's a translation of the Hebrew noun eretz. However, we can't see what the equivalent Greek word is in the Septuagint. No problem. We can view the Hebrew text as a dynamic interlinear and add the MT-LXX database. The column highlighting tells us that the Greek equivalent is gain. Now, is this the normal word the Septuagintal translators used for eretz? We can tell easily if we also owned the MT and LXX Parallel. We open it twice. In the first instance, we search for the Hebrew eretz. In the second, we use the merge command and search for the Hebrew gain. Now, we compare the number of hits. Eretz appears 2,479 times, and the Septuagint renders it gain 1,658 times, or 67% of the time. Thus, gain is the typical translation for that Greek word. How else is it translated? Let's look at another example. In this example, we've searched for the Hebrew word ahav in the Masoretic text. We've also searched for agapao in the Septuagint. Both are verbs and often translated to love in English. Both of these are also lemma searches, which means we looked for every form derived from these verbs. We're interested in how often the translators of the Septuagint equated the two of them. We'll merge our Hebrew search and our Greek search and coordinate them with the and command. To make sure the Greek isn't translating another word in the sentence, we'll set the search option to paragraph. By the way, paragraph here doesn't mean paragraph within the text, but paragraph within the tool, as the MT and LXX Parallel makes each Hebrew word its own paragraph. This is the list of verses where the two words match. Want to see instances that don't match? And here's where we pick up from the prior slide. We simply substitute a not command for the and. Why, we can even use an analytics button to generate graphs of the results. The merge command is one of Accordance's most powerful features. It leverages the data in the MT and LXX Parallel, but its uses are not confined to it. I trust that this podcast has given you some ideas of how to use it to make your study of the Bible more effective. This has been Dr. J for Accordance Bible Software. Thank you for watching this episode of Lighting the Lamp.